Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of the Farmersville Coaches Show, Football Edition with Coach Quinlan. Before we get a chance to visit, we want to turn it over to Jarren for a little bit of tea with McTee.
How do the players keep warm on the cold mornings?
We put on some extra layers, but we had one player that no-showed us this morning. That's an athletic kid that didn't come by. I'm not going to say that the show may be named after him, but he avoided the cold this morning.
What's the biggest obstacle right now with the team?
Keeping a positive attitude. We've lost a few in a row and trying to stay positive with them and them keeping a positive attitude looking forward. We got a couple games here that we feel like we can win if we play well, so, trying to stay positive.
How do you feel about the next stretch of games coming up?
I think we're in a good stretch. I think the next two are two beatable teams for sure. I know Aubrey will be a hard win, but these two against Crum this week and Sanger next week, I think are winnable games.
What's the game plan for this week's game?
We're going to have to be able to match their intensity on the offensive side of the ball. They do a really good job of executing, and we're going to have to be flying around the ball. And then defensively, they're a high effort team, so we're going to have to be able to keep up with their effort.
What do you believe is the greatest challenge most athletes face today?
Sometimes the greatest challenge our athletes face today is themselves and believing in what they're doing or not believing that they're better than what they actually are. So, when they are humbled and realize what they can and can't do, it's amazing how well they play.
Thank you for sitting down with me today.
All right, Coach. Again, not real sure where to start after this week. Farmersville is a first-half team, though. I will say that.
There's no doubt.
The last 3 weeks, up until just a couple minutes to go in that first half, I mean, we're in every game and 1 or 2 plays away from having a lead going into halftime. Mm-hmm. So you looked at the film. You've had a chance to talk to the coaches. Can you put your finger on it? What is it?
I think a part of it is just the lack of depth that we have. We got a bunch of kids playing both ways, and you get towards the end of that first 24 minutes, and they're starting to wear on you a little bit. And Van Alstyne was really good up front on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Very physical football team. So when that happens, typically they're going to wear on you as the game goes on, and it absolutely happened. Some of it's mental mistakes, and that's part of us being an immature football team, and there's some areas there that we got to work on and being disciplined in what we do and being able to do it consistently over and over again. But I think that, I think the depth is a big part of it. You look at Van Alstyne's roster, they had 26 seniors. We got 28 kids on the sideline.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That is a big difference in just the sheer numbers of kids.
So you had a chance to look at the film and kind of, I'm sure, multiple times. What are the positives to take out of that? It did at the end. The second half kind of got out of control a little bit. Again, I think you're exactly right. The depth really kind of showed up. They were running new skills guys in there every series. But what positive can we take out of that game?
Definitely the first half up until the last couple minutes of the half, we played toe-to-toe with them and did some really good things. We drove the football a few times down the field. Yep. Jacob had a big run. Those areas we're showing that we have the ability to do it. We're just not doing it consistently, and so the positive is that we can do it. We just got to learn how to do it consistently.
Well, and he had a special teams game this week. He kicked field goal for the first time. He's still hadn't missed an extra point yet. And so that's something good. That's a weapon to have right in the high school level.
And I thought we played really well on special teams overall. Because they did some trick stuff with their kicks and they did some swing gate stuff that happens really fast and up tempo, and we stopped the one time that they tried to go at it. And I think that special teams definitely took a step forward, especially from as bad as we played against Gainesville.
Yep.
It was definitely an improvement there. Coach Walker did a good job getting them ready to play.
Completely agree. Well, let's talk about Crum, this week's opponent. The next district opponent is going to be an away game. What do you see on film there? Like, are we going to do anything different? Are we going to try to do more of what we're good at?
We're gonna focus in on, especially offensively, on the things that we're executing well, and we're gonna take care of the football. I mean, they're a good offensive football team. You know, it's gonna be a strength against strength, I think. And defensively, they are very much an effort team. They play with great effort, and you can't let up or let off of them, or they're gonna take advantage of you. You know, I think they're a beatable football team. Absolutely think they're a beatable football team. But we're going to have to execute in order for that to happen.
No mistakes.
Exactly.
No turnovers. No penalties.
And if we have a mistake, we've got to recover from it. We can't lull in it. And that's, you know, you see the last couple of games, Bridgeport and Van Alstyne, we make a mistake at the end of the half, and then we compound it with more mistakes, and that's what's got to stop.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the lower levels real quick. With the JV, can we get an update there on JV 7th and 8th? How are those guys doing?
They're doing good. JV took one on the chin this week, and that, you know, Van Alstyne have played them really well, and you know, they bullied us a little bit, and there's some growth there that we got to do. And you know, I think we've kind of taken a breath at the JV level a little bit, because they didn't practice as well that going into that game, and I felt like, you know, if it was going to happen, this is the week it was going to happen.
Right.
But I think they've practiced better this week, and we've had good turnout and flying around, and I think that, you know, they're learning how to win too. I mean, that's a team that last year won one game, so there's a lot to learn there.
Yep.
And then the junior high levels played really well. We didn't win on the 8th grade level, but I think we won both of our 7th grade games.
Good.
And you know, they're showing improvement every week, and it's just awesome to watch those, especially our younger kids, how well they're already running our offense, running our defense, executing some of the things we're doing at the varsity level. And you know, they're already learning it at that level, and it's just, you know, 3-4 years from now, we're going to see it on the varsity level, that knowledge of the offense and defense really start to show up and make us a better football team.
Well, that stability, that familiarity, having that year over year will show up in the program, right? We've talked about the difference between a good team and a good program, and I know you're trying to build a good program here in Farmersville, and we appreciate your efforts. So this weekend, for those of you joining us at home, we've got 2 big events. Farmersville's got their game in Crum on Friday at 7:30, but also on Saturday we have Jarren's big annual benefit tournament. It's the 16th one we've had for Jarren. It's going to start at 6 o'clock out there at the J.W. Spain Complex. We're going to have a hayride. Mr. G is going to be spinning some tunes out there. He'll have the live music going. There's going to be a cornhole tournament. That's a big deal. I don't know if you're any good at cornhole.
No, I'm not. But
okay, well then we could be teammates then. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll start the softball tournament. It's an all-night softball tournament. I've been roped into that, and really the only thing that I want to do, and you can play with us, is just to beat the high school kids.
I may just come out and just talk trash.
So, and maybe I can hit, you can run for me, so something like that. So, but we appreciate all of you guys joining in. We hope that you come out there, support the farmers on Friday in Crum. If you can't, obviously join us on FHSAV on the YouTube channel, should I say, come out there and see us at the J.W. Spain Complex on Saturday night for Jarren's tournament. And until then, thanks for joining us, and go Farmers.